this lesson, I'm going to show you the key of E minor, all the chords, all the way up the neck. It's going to sound beautiful. You're going to sound beautiful doing it. Let's hit this lesson right now. This is the second installment of these compound chords. These are 2-finger chords that you can play very, very easily and start making music with them. So, first things first, let's look at the shapes that we have. The shapes that we have are an E major shape and an E minor shape. So that means essentially, if we take those two shapes, we are going to end up with an open E string and a first fret for an E major shape. But if we want the E minor, we can see that we get the open E string and we get the open G string as well here. So that's fairly easy. That's really easy to pluck because that's all that is. It's those two notes there. So if we take those two notes there, that is E minor. That's the core of what an E minor chord is. This is the minor key, and the minor key goes E minor, F sharp diminished, G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, and we get back to the E minor. And you can see that little shape there, that E minor shape, it's all on the same fret. If this was to be the major shape, you could hear there, can you hear the lift? The major sounds happy, whereas the minor sounds melancholic. What we need to do with this is we're going to take this all the way up the neck. The key to this is once you are on your chords here is keeping this third finger on and switching the index and the middle fingers. That's the key to all of this. So if we look at this, this is the E minor. I'm just plucking those open strings there. Then I'm putting fingers 2 and 3 on. I find that's the easiest grip because, look, it's closest to what your G chord would look like. That is going to give me my F sharp diminished. And this is what the F sharp diminished sounds like properly. This F sharp diminished, it's related to the minor chord because it's got a root and it's got a minor third. It's the fifth that makes a diminished chord different, but that's subject for another lesson. So what we'll do is we'll just stick to the facts here that these two here, this is F sharp diminished. Now what I need to do is I need to move up and I'm going to slide that third finger up from the 2nd fret of the G string up to the 4th fret, and then I'm going to put that first finger on the 3rd fret, and you can see that this is a major shape because it covers 2 frets. There's the G major chord. The next chord is A minor, which is at the 5th fret, and you can see I've reverted back to my minor shape. The next shape is going to be 2 frets up, and that's a B minor, so I don't need to modify that shape at all. I just move it up 2 frets. So move that up 2 frets, you can see it's there. The next chord is C, which starts here, and that's a major chord, so I shift it, change it to be that major shape. Notice that that 3rd finger hasn't left that string yet. There's the C major, there's the D major, and then here's the E minor. Right, so what we can also do with this is because the key of E minor has a root note which is E, which is this thin E string or this thick E string, but we're going to add this thin E string and we're going to add this B string as well because the B is the 5th degree of the E minor scale. And we can think about it, we've got a B minor chord as well at the 7th fret. So this is all going to work and it's all going to work together, which means I can essentially then add the B and the thin E string. Now if you think about it, if I play this, you can hear the E minor at its core there. That's a Metallica song. Which Metallica song is that? Put it in the comments below. Here, so what we're going to do is we're going to add those extra notes there to these shapes that we have, and what that'll do is that will make everything sound just that little bit sweeter. So here we go. Here's the E minor. Here's the F sharp diminished at the 2nd fret. At the 3rd fret we get that G major. At the 5th fret we get A minor. At the 7th fret we get the B minor. At the 8th fret we get the C. We get the D at the 10th fret. And then at the 12th fret we get back to E minor again. And you can hear that this, just adding those extra strings, give you something else to play around with. Now I'm tempted to put an E major chord on there. You can do, this is a kind of a bonus tip. If you do, that's called a tierce de Picardy. But you could put that on there. If I play that now, you can hear it ends on a happy chord and doesn't sound so unresolved. And in future lessons, what I'll be doing is I'll be showing you how to tart this up with some lovely, beautiful, lush sixths. If you've enjoyed this lesson, please make sure you do the subscribe thing, wallop the like, drop a comment below as well, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Stick around for more lessons. This is part of a series of lessons, and if you look around here now, there's a video going to pop up any minute that if you follow on from this one, you'll be able to add that to this, and then that's going to sound even more beautiful. So click on that, and I'll see you in another lesson. Take care guys, stay safe.